Well, it's October, and in our neighborhood, um, people get really into Halloween. And some people have had ghosts and, big decorations for Halloween since Labor Day. They start putting their Halloween stuff out, which is so bizarre to me. But you know, uh, y'all, most of y'all know already that I like to call it Holy Ween. And when Allie Beth was probably about 13 years old, so that would have been 2005-ish, she had always wanted me to decorate for Halloween, and all of her friends had Halloween stuff up, and I just wouldn't do it, and I would just decorate for fall. And so sometime after Labor Day, I would decorate with pumpkins and leaves and fall stuff, and that would carry me all the way through Thanksgiving, and it was great. And one day I was sitting in church, and I was not thinking about Halloween. I don't the pastor was talking, and all of a sudden he quoted the verse in Ezekiel, "O dry bones, hear ye the word of the Lord." And so I thought, oh my goodness, why couldn't I use scripture for Halloween decorations? How could I do that? So I went immediately home and got some drop cloths from Home Depot and some craft paint, and started painting these giant banners for our yard decorations. I don't know where that idea came from. I honestly don't. I am not an artist at all, so I'm sure they look awful. But we lived on a very busy street. Our neighborhood gets at least 300 children on Halloween night, at least, and probably more than that. And so I knew that my house would be very visible. So I did a couple of banners on the Home Depot sign, on the Home Depot drop cloths. And then the next year I thought of some different verses, and so I did some more banners, and before long I had these giant drop cloth banners in my entire front yard, on my porch, and I bought skeletons. I had them dancing to Mary Mary with their take the shackles off my feet, and I would sit out on the front porch and hand out candy. And then I also handed out the little Christian pumpkin track that I just printed off on some orange paper and handed that out with the candy. And I cannot tell you how many parents just would stand in the yard while their children are going up to get the candy, and they go, "I love your signs. I love your signs." And the children would take the little pumpkin track, and they'd go, "Oh, I'm a Christian," and it was just so fun. And so a little bit later, I found a website that could make, sort of professional looking banners, and I started doing that. So this is one of them, Ultimate Grave Robber, because we don't have to fear death and the sting of death. It says in 1 Corinthians 15:55. So Jesus is the ultimate grave robber. And then some people have a problem with this sign because I've got little children dressed up in scary costumes and all that, but I wanted it to be relatable to the children coming up to my door, and then have a scripture on it to let them know that they are fearfully and wonderfully made. And then of course the original one, the "O dry bones, hear the word of the Lord," from Ezekiel 37. And then just a fun little "Whoever calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved." And every single year, I've done this every year, and I get comments like, "Oh, this is my favorite house. This is my favorite," not my house, but the decorations around my house. And thank you so much for doing that. And and the little kids running away with the little, pumpkin things, saying, "Mommy, she said Jesus. She's talking about Jesus." And it is the sweetest thing. And I just want to tell people, what other night of the year do people walk up to your door, hundreds of them in our case, and ask for something, and you can give them anything you want and they'll take it. And I'm going to give them the gospel in a simple format that they can understand, and and some candy. And I just think it's a great way to share the gospel. You're not going to have that. Nobody's going to do that any other time. Maybe during political season when people are knocking on your door for campaigning, but even then, it's not the same. And if you can draw people in and share the gospel in a simple way and just light the night, I just think that's a good thing to do. Happy Halloween.